Now I'm going to show you my super secret Piney Grove method for planting in ground here. All right guys, it's here, it's spring, and it's time to get Piney Grove's garden planted. We've got all the seeds we need, we've got some lime, we've got some fertilizer, and we've also got a method I developed last year for prepping all the openings in our raised garden beds here. Now we have two types of raised beds here. We've got the in-ground beds with the landscaping cloth that stays here year after year. Last year we lifted up the cloth and put more compost up underneath there. And then we also have these raised beds from Vigo Gardens. So this is our second year of using them. Already planted our onions. We got onions there as well, and that's a complete onion bed. There's our Vigo Garden compost bin. We used all our compost last year. And all winter we've been filling it with kitchen scraps and shredded cardboard and pine needles and all sorts of things to make good soil. And then we added 3 tartar garden beds here, and I've already got one of them filled. A few weeks ago I planted some ever-bearing strawberries, so these don't just give you strawberries in June, they give you strawberries year-round, and there's one right there. The plants had a few strawberries on them when I got them. I've eaten them already, and now these will be the first Piney Grove strawberries. Some leftover cabbage from the winter, and that's going to go to the cows. And 2 more Vigo garden beds here, and some onions on the end. We also have 3 tartar boxes up here where we reshaped the side of our cow barn. And I got some onions going here, been in the ground a couple weeks, and then I have some radishes, some tomatoes and peppers, and some eggplants going here. Last year I started everything in those little pots, like corn, everything, beans, and what I read was they actually like to be started in the ground because they throw out a lot of little roots, and when you try to transplant them, it breaks those little roots. So tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, and probably not radishes. But the other ones that I named are very compatible with transplanting once they make a plant. Now I'm going to show you my super secret Piney Grove method for planting in ground here. And now these have been covered probably going on their 3rd year, if not their 4th year. Like I said, we added some good compost underneath last year when we lifted up the plastic. But what we found is that we like this way of gardening better than direct soil gardening because the weeds will just overtake this garden. Now you still see some weeds in here. It's impossible to keep all the weeds at bay. But here's something that I tried last year and it works really well. So I got some sewage and drain pipe here that fits perfectly into that hole. And then I take a little bit of lime and put in there. This is lime we got from the agricultural co-op, so it's dolomite lime. And the reason you need lime is to keep your pH high, because every time you use fertilizer, you add acid to your soil, and it eventually becomes not a real good place to grow things, except for like blackberries and pine trees. But then I take this compost mixer that I got off Amazon, I put in here, and I try not to let it dig too deep, and just kind of mix that soil. And this keeps all of the dirt from going everywhere and into my wood chips. Just kind of keeps the weeds down and keeps the whole process cleaner. And as I mix everything together, I then reverse the drill, and it pushes all that dirt back down in the hole. And now this is all mixed and ready for seed. It's got a little lime, it's got a little fertilizer, and the soil's loosened up. Drop the seed in there, add water, let the magic begin. I've been doing a lot, but I haven't got anything completely done. Sun came out, it's a little strong out here, so I'm just trying to protect my skin. But I've done this row completely. I've put lime and fertilizer in all of the openings. And what I found was it was a bit cumbersome to carry everything with you and do it one at a time. So I went down all the rows, put in lime in all of the garden beds. And then I put a little lime, I think, in the compost bin as well, because that'll get acidic. And then I put fertilizer on everything. And then I tilled the bigger beds. And I got 2 more beds left, the tartar beds left. And I want to show you this trick. And when I say trick, I just discovered it. I don't claim to be the world's greatest gardener. I grew up on a farm, did a lot of big row crop farming. Tomatoes, peppers, squash, sweet corn, just acres and acres of that stuff, and also a lot of grains in the winter. So most of my background was big ag, but my dad was into gardening, and especially once he sold the farm. So getting into gardening here at Piney Grove, it's pretty cool being able to come out here and just pick your vegetables and eat them. And always trying to improve my processes. So I bought this little compost thing last year, and I've just found so many uses for it. Like if I'm digging a hole to put a post or something in and the hole isn't perfect, I can just use this without breaking out the tractor auger or something. But I found that with all this fertilizer and lime right here on the top, I can use this and just kind of bring up that soil that's a little deeper, a little compost, a little bit of cardboard, kind of mix it with the top here. I'm not trying to say no one else has done this before, but you can reverse your drill if you want to change the way that the soil is being thrown. And it's not perfect, but it's pretty close to perfect. And that mixes everything. They're great. I love them. Everyone has cordless drills too, so it's just another way you can use your drills, or maybe get your spouse to let you get more drills. The reason I'm watering now instead of after I seed is because I don't want to wash the seeds out. Some of the seeds are going to be shallow, and I've tilled up the soil pretty good, and small seed goes in only like a 1/4 inch, and sometimes you'll water afterwards and you'll disrupt that seed and maybe set it on top, and it'll have less of a chance to germinate. So I just want to soak in these here. Be very little weeding once I reinforce or reestablish all the wood chips, because they break down year after year. So we just keep adding like 6-inch layer on top of it, and all of them are organic. They come here from Piney Grove. All our pine trees and oak trees and brush and stuff, we chip up as much as we can. So last year I put my corn in rows and it didn't pollinate good, and that's because corn has to be close together because it pollinates from the wind and not from bees and stuff moving the pollen around. So I'm going to put the corn in the tartar beds real close together. I'm going to do one planting today and then another planting in a week or so. That way I'll have staggered harvest and not all of it come due at once. I also noticed the compost bin was pretty dry. Even though I've been putting like 5 gallons of water in here every week or so, it really needs to be saturated. And with the temperatures warming up, I want to get those worms and different bugs in there, breaking that down. When I stuck that auger deep in there, I really didn't see much decomposition from over the winter. Found last year, after it started getting hot, that it really started attracting the bugs or whatever, and it broke down a good compost last year. Watering was fun, but now it's time to knock out this last row. But I want to show you guys something I had to do to this tool. So you see the end of this auger is round. Well, the part that they give you to put the drill on right here is kind of more hexagon, and my drill kept slipping on it, and it got to the point where you could only turn it a little bit before the drill would slip. So I cut this off with a cutoff wheel and then scraped this off with a knife. It's actually got really, really good paint on it, and then I hit it with a wire wheel, and now that it's round like a drill bit, it stays in the chuck of the drill. It hasn't come loose since I've done that, and I've done 2 rows with it like this. Another thing I'm doing is really deep tilling. I'm taking that fertilizer and that lime and I'm sending it way down, like over 12 inches deep. And that's because I want those roots to follow those nutrients down and not be shallow rooted. And that just helps, you know, them get more moisture and just be a hardier plant. Because we get some high winds here in the spring and the summer. And some of these things, like peppers and stuff, if they don't have a strong root system, they'll just blow over. And now I think we're in our 3rd year of wood chips. So this is the 3rd layer of wood chips. So down underneath here, you've got 3-year-old wood chips that have become part of the soil. So year by year, this is getting to be a better garden. All right, here's the last opening. We got a till in. Nice deep till. Reverse the drill. Push all that back in there. Put the drill back forward. Kind of stir everything on the top. reverse it again. Look at that, ready for seed. I like to make a little cup there so water can stay right there where the plant needs it. First thing we're going to get started with is some radishes. So I've got some radishes started in some early grow pots, but you almost can't have enough radishes, and they grow so quick you can get several crops out of them. So I'm going to leave a little space here for the onions and put a row, probably put 3 rows, one of each kind in here. One thing we've learned about radishes is they don't like to be crowded. They won't grow a nice big radish. They'll grow a nice top, leafy top, but who eats the leafy top of radishes? And this is a chopstick. This is Deb's tool of choice for putting in seeds. And radishes grow quick, so they are a good seed for testing your soil. Like if you're not sure if your soil has the right nutrients or whatever, or that it's poor soil and nothing will grow, radishes will do a quick test of that. We're going to take advantage of this trellis here and put in these Regal high yield pickling cucumbers. So I'm going to put in 2 seeds per opening, and if 2 come up, then 2 come up, and they'll just ride this trellis on up. Cucumbers, pretty easy to grow. So these trellises already in place. As the plants come up, I'll just train them. I'll just thread them through here. And you'd be amazed at how big of cucumbers you can grow, and they'll hang, and they won't hurt the vine. Now these are called muncher cucumbers, and if you have a country store or some sort of farm store near you, they probably have seed in bulk, and then they sell it in like little scoops. And it's usually they know what they're doing as far as what seed they buy that works good locally, and it's just better than, say, buying it from Walmart. It says on there, muncher cucumbers, 60 cents for all of these. And those other cucumbers, those pickling cucumbers I planted before my dad passed, he bought them a couple years ago, and they said $4.69 for 40 seeds. So I like the raised beds, a little bit more convenient, easier to weed and all that, but you just don't have as much space. But this one's cucumbers now. I'm going to plant my okra here. These are big seeds. These are easier to keep track of. Put 2 of these in here. Both of them come up and look healthy. I will pluck one because you don't need 2 okra per hole. And having this pre-moistened is the way to go. It's making it much easier just to push that seed down in that moist soil and cover it up. And now I don't have to worry about coming back and watering it right away. One thing I'm not doing that I should do is have little markers. I'm going to plant this whole row in green beans. I've got green crop and I've got Savannah. So they're a big seed. Put 2 in there. Then kind of space them a little bit. Push them in 1/2 inch or so. Cover them up. Down to the next one. Okay, this will be the first time this tartar bed has had any seeds in it. We got 2 types of sweet corn. We got peaches and cream, and we have candy corn. And what we're going to do is, last year I made a mistake. I planted my corn in rows and it didn't want to pollinate. We're going to plant these corn seeds about 12 inches apart or so and make them come up real close together. And so they can self-pollinate. Yeah, we'll do 2 rows of each. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll do 2 rows of each in the other planter. And what I'll probably have to do is run some T-post in here so that I can put some sort of wire, because winds will blow over corn, especially in a pot like this. I got onions in here as well, just because I bought too many onion plants. That's 20 candy corn. And now we'll do about the same of peaches and cream. Now I'm planting these 1 per hole because I think I remember last year the germination rate was really high on these. And corn is a nitrogen lover, so we'll be adding lots of nitrogen as it grows. Deb really likes squash, and we're going to put squash in the other tartar beds over there. But I've got some openings here. I'm going to go ahead and plant her some squash. This is crookneck squash. And then I also have straight neck squash. I'm doing 2 seeds per. Got this seed from a place locally called Orange Hill Express, and they're one of those places that have them in big bins, and you know, a scoop is like $1.50 or something, and it gives you probably enough for 3 years worth. And these probably will have high germination rates because they're new seed. All right, guys, that establishes the spring garden out here at Piney Grove. Remember, leave a comment down below. Give us some tips on how you grow. It not only will help us, but it also will help our other viewers out there that want to do a garden. Every year we learn a little bit more. And I'll leave you with this one thing that we learned last year, and that's not to plant too much of things you don't eat that much. Because let's say you don't like eggplant. Well, I plant 6 eggplant plants, and then you eat eggplant once, and then you're either throwing it away, giving it to the cows, or, you know, giving it away. So we've learned that. Plant what we eat. We don't need a garden to be impressive on YouTube. We need a garden that nourishes our body and gives us satisfaction of living off the land. But that'll wrap it up. So until next time, y'all take care out there, and we'll catch you on the next video. I almost forgot to put this up to keep the deer out. One thing I got to do is come in here with some rabbit-proof wire on the lower side, because the rabbits are coming right through this, and they sure like a nice green garden.